And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Saturday, September 28th, 2024. And if you'd like additional weather information on top of what I provide in this YouTube video, you can go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. It'll bring you to a map of the continental U.S. with Hawaii and Alaska to the lower left, and then tabs for the territories. And if you point and click anywhere on this map, it'll give you a very specific forecast with any relevant watches, warnings, or advisories for anywhere in the country. Well, over a week ago, I was giving the indication that there would be a potential for a major hurricane to strike the southeast U.S., and indeed that was the case. Late Thursday evening, we had a Category 4 Hurricane Helene come into the Big Bend region of Florida and then spread northward, causing catastrophic, not just storm surge flooding, but flash flooding from heavy rainfall across the southeast U.S., especially within the southern Appalachian Mountains there in western Carolinas and eastern Tennessee, northern Georgia. And this system so far has claimed at least 60 lives as a result of wind and rain flooding type events. Fortunately, the weather has quieted down now across the southeast U.S., but the damage assessments continue, and many roads have been washed out as a result of the flash flooding there, especially in the southeast. Further west, we have critical fire weather conditions due to warm temperatures, gusty winds, and low humidities in the western Dakotas and Nebraska into the northern Rockies. And that fire weather threat will continue here going into Sunday. Off to the southwest, we still have some heat-related advisories and warnings as a result of very warm temperatures for so late in the season. But looking here in Alaska, we have one system of importance coming up here early in the week. A storm force low is going to come up into the lower Gulf and then track eastward and impact especially the southern panhandle. There is a high wind watch for Monday into Tuesday for Prince of Wales Island, where wind gusts could be as high as on the order of 55 to near 70 miles an hour in some of the higher terrain. And there also will be some moderate to locally heavy rain go across, especially the southern panhandles. This low tracks toward Dixon Entrance. Otherwise, fairly quiet weather across the mainland, enjoying some rather pleasant and dry fall weather. Solar activity is currently low. We're not anticipating any major geomagnetic storms or really active aurora displays, but you should always keep an eye on the night sky. If you have clear conditions, you can see those quieter form auroras on a lot of nights. And new moon will occur on Wednesday, October 2nd, but of interest, we have a visible comet now. It's in the eastern sky. We can't really see it at this point because it's disappearing behind the sun for a bit, but will reemerge as we come in up past the first week of October. And here in Alaska, we have the potential perhaps around October 12th, when the comet is projected to be its brightest, we may be able to see it in the western evening sky. So stay tuned to later updates. The comet Sushinshan Atlas will be visible in the October evening sky after sunset. It could be certainly bright enough to see without any binoculars or anything like that, but at the very least your phone camera which would be able to capture it. So the biggest thing is getting clear skies this time of year, especially south central areas. You have a little better chance across the interior seeing clear skies, and that's the case this weekend. Nenana, fair and dry, 42 degrees. You can see the fall colors. Leaves, though, far past their peak. In the southern part of the Panhandle, where that high wind watch is in effect for Monday into Tuesday, Heidelberg, partly sunny, 53, kind of the quiet before the storm. Conditions will be deteriorating there as we get into early Monday and certainly by Monday afternoon. So the only area of the state currently under any sort of special weather statement and watch is in the southeast. So we have Prince of Wales Island, including Craig, Klawak, Heidelberg under that high wind watch for Monday into Tuesday. Winds could gust as high as 60 to near 70 miles an hour in some of the higher terrain here as the low comes up into the lower Gulf and then heads east-northeastward. Some of the projections take it into the southern panhandle, Dixon Entrance area as we go through the early portion of the week, and then some of the heavier rainfall will be out here over the southern portion of the panhandle. Otherwise, it's looking more and more like the effects of that low should spare the Kenai Coast and Kodiak Island. Earlier, it was looking like some pretty strong winds may could clip Kodiak, but that's not looking to be as likely now. And on the satellite imagery, this Saturday afternoon, we have three weaker areas of low pressure, one south of Kodiak Island, one here between the lower Yukon Delta and St. Lawrence. And then this one, actually has a little more energy to it. You see that little stronger curl in the cloud pattern, and that low is heading off toward the south and east. It's actually going to be absorbed by a stronger low that's coming up from the North Pacific here as we go into Sunday night and Monday. So on the weather map this afternoon, we have cold front here, Mackenzie River, and on up toward the Arctic coast there. Weak ridge of high pressure all across the northern eastern mainland, back down into the Gulf and over the Panhandle. And then this collection of three weak low pressure systems, one south-southeast of Kodiak Island in the North Pacific, the other between the Yukon Delta coast and St. Lawrence, and then another one in the vicinity of the Pribilov Islands. This system is going to be heading southeastward, and with time late tonight, early Sunday morning, we find those three lows just kind of pinwheeling around. Still weak ridge of high pressure over the northern eastern mainland, beginning to erode there in the Panhandle. And then by the time we get into Sunday afternoon, that one low is still there crossing the eastern Aleutians, lower portion of the Alaska Peninsula. Still weak high pressure ridge out across the eastern half of the mainland. And by the time we get into Monday, very quickly, that low comes up out of the North Pacific into the lower Gulf. This is a storm force low that could even have some gust up near hurricane force, up as high as 75 miles an hour. This low is going to take a track eastward toward Dixon Entrance as we get into Tuesday. So this front, as it pushes up, at least up here into the Panhandle, could produce storm force wind gusts along with some moderate to locally heavy rain, especially over the southern half of the Panhandle. Right now it looks like it may just brush areas of Kodiak Island and the outer Kenai coastline, but otherwise what that's going to do is turn winds northeast to northerly here over the mainland, so drier air will be drawn southward across south-central areas of the state from the central and northern interior. Looking at Sunday morning lows, generally just around or just above 40 in the Panhandle. Get any clearing here out through south-central, you're going to see temperatures dip down to near freezing or below in some of the colder spots, 24 there, Glen Allen. And then Sunday afternoon, we are looking for highs back up lower to mid-50s in the Panhandle. Warmest in the Prince of Wales Island, could see some mid to maybe even upper 50s if you get a little more sun. Hoping for 52 or so in the Anchorage Bowl, 55 Talkeetna, one of the warmer spots. And then Monday morning, lows could still be below freezing Copper River Basin, near 40 with increasing clouds. It just depends on the wind because the system is going to pick up some winds a bit out of the northeast and north. That may keep temperatures up a little bit. And then here in Panhandle, lows again generally staying above 40, maybe 38 there at Juneau. And then temperatures on Monday afternoon, we find readings lower 50s in the Panhandle. Similarly near or just above 50 across much of south central. In through the interior tonight, many readings below freezing. We're looking at teens along the Brooks Range, Arctic Village, Anatuvik Pass. Along the Arctic coast, some readings there getting below freezing. Maybe holding mid-30s there, Nome, Shishmaref. And then high temperatures Sunday afternoon, warmest Fairbanks around 51, McGrath, Galena, but then up along the Arctic coast, temperatures just kind of holding upper 30s at best, maybe squeaking out 38 there to near 40 at Utqiagvik. And lows again come Monday morning, maybe not quite as cold along the Brooks Range, but still down near 20. And temperatures is the eastern central areas where there's more in the way of clearing will be getting well down into the 20s, with readings staying just above freezing along the areas of the lower Chukchi Sea coastline through the Bering Strait, and highs Monday afternoon 30s along the Arctic coast, eastern north slope, 40s most everywhere else, with a few 50s, maybe 53 Fairbanks and 50-ish around McGrath. The southern southwestern interior will see some areas down near or a bit below freezing, but otherwise, as we trail out along the Alaska Peninsula tonight into Sunday morning, lows generally near or just above 40. Afternoon highs will be confined mainly to the 40s. Could see a 50-degree reading from around Kodiak City down through King Salmon, all the way down through Falls Pass, those areas. And then temperatures Monday morning, we're looking at lows generally in the 30s near or just above freezing in the southwest interior, upper 30s to near 40 going down along the Alaska Peninsula into the eastern Aleutians. And Monday afternoon, temperatures should be around 50 along the western Gulf, including Kodiak City, 52 Homer, just around or just above 50 Dillingham King Salmon. But the interior southwest, Bethel, and on up the Yukon River, generally highs only in the mid-40s. So the extended temperature outlook to start out the early part of October, the 4th through the 8th, centered on the 6th, is indicating for temperatures to average above normal over the eastern mainland, a good portion of the mainland, with near normal temperatures the Panhandle and the Alaska Peninsula, with below normal temperatures across the eastern Aleutians. But with this kind of pattern, we're still going to see a parade of low pressure systems either coming out of the Bering or up out of the North Pacific. So that places the southern portion of the state, the southern mainland, especially along and south of the Alaska Range, including the Panhandle and the Alaska Peninsula. The potential is for precipitation to continue to average above normal as we go into early October.